Fall 7 times, stand up 8. Life is not about how many times we fall, but how determined we are to rise each time we do. Struggles are not a sign of weakness. They are a test of our resilience. Every stumble, every setback, every moment that brings us to our knees is simply a setup for a greater comeback. There will be days when you feel defeated, days when nothing seems to go right, when doors close, people walk away, and dreams feel distant. But in those very moments, the choice is yours. You can stay down, or you can rise. Stronger, wiser, more focused than before. And that's what separates those who live with purpose from those who live in regret. Failure is not final unless you choose to stay down. The greatest victories often come after the hardest battles. Pain shapes character. Adversity reveals strength. And the fire you walk through today will forge the courage you need for tomorrow. You were never meant to live a life free of trials. You were meant to grow through them. Life doesn't promise ease. It promises opportunity. Opportunity to rise above, to push further, to fight again. And when you fall, and you will, you must decide whether the fall defines you or refines you. It's not about perfection, it's about persistence. Not about avoiding the fall, but learning to rise with dignity and purpose every single time. Each rise builds a foundation, and with every step forward, you're proving that no failure can keep you down unless you let it. So when life knocks you down, don't stay there. Get up again and again until standing becomes your legacy, because the world doesn't remember those who never fell. It remembers those who refuse to stay down. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. That's how you win. Resilience matters more than failure. In life, failure is inevitable. No matter how smart, strong, or talented you are, you will fall. You will face moments where nothing goes as planned, where your strength is tested, and where the odds seem stacked against you. But the truth is, it's not the fall that defines you. It's what you do after the fall that shows who you really are. Resilience is the ability to rise when everything in you feels like staying down. It's the quiet, unshakable voice that whispers, "Try again," when the noise of defeat is screaming in your ears. Many people believe that those who succeed are the ones who never fail, but that's a myth. The ones who truly make it, who truly grow, are the ones who fail over and over again, yet continue to rise, continue to fight, continue to believe. Falling can be painful. It can shake your confidence and make you question everything. But it also teaches you. Every time you fall, you learn something new about yourself, about the world, about your strength, and with each rise, you build something stronger than before, a mindset that cannot be broken, a will that cannot be bent. Resilience is forged in the furnace of difficulty. It's not handed to you, it's earned in the moments when most people give up, but you choose to stand again. People often try to avoid failure, thinking that safety is the same as success, but playing it safe never builds resilience. True resilience is born in the storm. It's when you've lost everything and you still find the courage to take one more step. It's when your dream feels out of reach, but you keep showing up anyway. That kind of inner strength can't be faked. It comes from real struggle, real disappointment, and the decision to rise despite it all. Those who rise again and again don't have easier lives. They just have a deeper reason to keep going. They've chosen not to let failure be the end of their story. They've understood that falling is not the opposite of success, it's a part of it. And every time they stand back up, they're writing a story that speaks louder than any success ever could. Because there's power in resilience. There's beauty in the bounce back. There's honor in refusing to quit when quitting would be easier. Adversity builds strength. It's easy to believe that strength is something you're born with, that some people are just naturally tough, unshaken by the storms of life. But true strength isn't given, it's earned. And it's earned through pain, through pressure, through situations that force you to dig deeper than you ever thought possible. Adversity is life's way of refining you, stripping away the surface and exposing what you're really made of. Without it, there's no growth, no resilience, no real power. Muscles grow by being torn and rebuilt. Character grows the same way. Through the tearing moments of life that hurt, challenge, and stretch you beyond your comfort zone, People often try to avoid discomfort. They search for shortcuts, for ease, for a path that doesn't hurt. But in doing so, they miss the very experiences that would make them strong. It's in the losses, the heartbreaks, the rejections, the late nights, and the lonely seasons that strength is born. You learn how to keep going when everything in you wants to stop. You learn how to smile through struggle and speak life into yourself when no one else does. That kind of strength isn't loud or flashy. It's quiet, steady, and unshakable. Adversity doesn't just teach you how to endure. It shows you who you are. It exposes your weaknesses, but not to break you, to help you grow. It reveals the areas where you need to improve, where your mindset needs sharpening, where your faith needs to deepen. And if you face it head on instead of running from it, you begin to see adversity not as your enemy and start asking, what is this teaching me? Some of the strongest people in the world are not the ones who have had it easy. They are the ones who have walked through fire, who have been knocked down over and over and still chose to rise. They faced adversity that could have destroyed them, and instead of giving in, they used it. They let it fuel their growth, their mindset, their mission. That's where real strength comes from. Not from avoiding the fight, but from learning how to fight better every time life pushes back. When you realize that adversity is shaping you, it changes everything. You no longer fear the struggle. You begin to understand that every challenge is building something inside you that comfort never could. Strength built through adversity lasts because it's been tested. It's been proven. And once you've walked through the fire and made it out stronger, there's nothing life can throw at you that you can't face. Pain is part of growth. It's one of those truths that no one wants to hear, but everyone needs to understand. We live in a world that tries to avoid pain at all costs. We're taught to chase comfort, to avoid struggle, to seek out the easiest path. But growth doesn't live on the easy path. It lives in the moments that stretch you, challenge you, and yes, hurt you. Pain isn't a punishment. It's a signal. It's life's way of pushing you out of where you are and into who you're meant to become. Think about it. Every breakthrough, every transformation, every level up in life is preceded by some kind of discomfort. It's the athlete pushing past the burn in training. It's the entrepreneur taking loss after loss before the first win. It's the student grinding through sleepless nights to master something they once didn't understand. Growth isn't glamorous, it's gritty. And pain is the cost of that transformation. You don't grow stronger by staying where it's safe. You grow by walking through the fire and letting it refine you, not define you. Pain teaches you things that comfort never will. It sharpens your focus. It reveals what really matters. It strips away distractions and forces you to confront your fears, your weaknesses, and your limits. And in doing that, it shows you what you're truly capable of. The most powerful people you'll ever meet are the ones who faced deep pain and chose to grow from it. They didn't let it turn them bitter. They let it make them better. They found purpose in the process. You can't avoid pain in life, but you can choose how you respond to it. You can run from it, numb it, or deny it, but that only delays the growth it's trying to bring. Or you can lean into it. Ask what it's trying to teach you. Use it as fuel. Every painful moment is a doorway to something greater if you're willing to walk through it. Some people live their entire lives trying to escape pain, not realizing that what they're really doing is avoiding growth. Growth hurts because you're becoming something you've never been before. It's unfamiliar, it's uncomfortable, but that discomfort is proof that something inside you is changing. You're being stretched beyond who you were yesterday, and while it may not feel good in the moment, the version of you that comes out on the other side will be stronger, wiser, and more prepared for whatever comes next. Pain isn't the end. It's the beginning of something new, something better, something stronger. And once you realize that pain has a purpose, you stop fearing it. You start using it. You control your response. Life will throw things at you that you never expected. Circumstances will shift. People will disappoint you. Plans will fall apart. And in those moments, it might feel like everything is out of your control. But the truth is, while you can't always control what happens to you, you always have the power to control how you respond. That power is your freedom, it's your strength, and it's what separates those who grow from those who give up. Every setback gives you a choice. You can let it define you, make you bitter, make you stop trying, or you can let it refine you, make you stronger, make you wiser. You decide. That decision doesn't always happen in a dramatic moment. Sometimes it's quiet. It's choosing to get out of bed when you feel defeated. It's choosing to speak life into yourself when no one else does. It's choosing not to let one failure become a permanent identity. That's where real power is, not in controlling everything around you, but in mastering the only thing you truly can, your reaction. When you fall, when things don't go your way, it's easy to blame the world. It's easy to point fingers, make excuses, or shut down. But blame doesn't build anything. It only keeps you stuck. The moment you take responsibility, not for what happened, but for how you respond to it, is the moment you take your power back. That's when things begin to shift. That's when growth begins. Because you're no longer living like a victim of your circumstances. You're choosing to rise above them. Your mindset is everything. How you interpret pain, failure, rejection, how you choose to process it, shapes your life far more than the event itself. Two people can go through the same hardship and come out completely different. One broken, the other built. The difference isn't what happened, it's what they told themselves about it. It's what they chose to believe and how they chose to move forward. And that choice is always in your hands. Even when you feel like you've lost everything, you still have control over your attitude. You still have control over your action. That's how people rise from situations that should have destroyed them. Because they refuse to let the situation speak louder than their own will. They didn't wait for things to get easier. They decided to become stronger. They didn't wait for someone to come fix it. They became the one who took responsibility. No matter how low you go, you can always choose to rise. No matter how heavy the burden, you can choose to carry it with grace. That doesn't mean it won't hurt. It doesn't mean it'll be fair or easy. But it means you don't have to let it break you. You get to choose what this moment will make of you. You get to write the next chapter. Not by what happens, but by how you respond to what happens. Persistency over perfection. In a world obsessed with flawless outcomes and instant success, it's easy to believe that if you're not perfect, you're failing. But the truth is, perfection is an illusion, and chasing it can leave you paralyzed. The people who truly grow, the ones who actually achieve something meaningful, aren't perfect. They're persistent. They keep going when others quit. They keep showing up, even when they feel unqualified, uncertain, or unseen. That's what separates those who make progress from those who stay stuck. Not talent, not perfection, but the ability to keep moving forward, waiting until everything is perfect, until the timing feels right, until you feel confident enough, skilled enough, ready enough, only guarantees one thing: delay. Growth doesn't come from getting everything right the first time. It comes from taking the step anyway, from falling, learning, adjusting, and trying again. Every expert was once a beginner who kept going. Every success story is filled with chapters of mistakes, failures, and moments where it would have been easier to quit, but they didn't. They chose persistence. Persistence wants you to perform. Persistence wants you to progress. One demands that you never mess up. The other allows you to learn through the mess. That's why perfection will always leave you frustrated, insecure, and exhausted, because it's not real. It's a moving target. But persistence, that's real. That's powerful. It doesn't care how slow you go, how many times you fall, or how imperfect your path looks. It only cares that you don't stop. You grow stronger with every attempt. Even the ones that don't work, even the ones that end in failure, especially those ones. Because persistence teaches you how to keep showing up despite the result. It trains your mind to push through resistance, to silence doubt, and to focus on the process, not just the outcome. And when you live like that, when your focus is on progress over perfection, you become unstoppable. Mistakes stop scaring you. Failure stops defining you. You stop trying to look perfect and start becoming powerful. The truth is, no great life was ever built on a flawless path. It was built on persistence, on messy beginnings, painful setbacks, and relentless commitment to the vision. Every time you choose to try again, to rise after a fall, to keep walking even when it hurts, that's when real growth happens. That's when your character is formed and your confidence is built. Not because you never messed up, but because you refused to give up. You didn't wait for perfect conditions. You decided that progress mattered more. And when that becomes your mindset, everything changes. You stop comparing, you stop stalling, you stop needing permission to move forward. You just move day by day, step by step. Not because it's easy, not because it looks perfect, but because you've made the decision to persist no matter what. Your legacy is in your rise. The world doesn't remember those who never struggled. It remembers those who faced the struggle, fell hard, and still found the strength to rise. Because rising is more than a moment. It's a message. It speaks to everyone watching, everyone wondering if they can make it through their own pain. Your rise tells them it's possible. It tells them that failure isn't the end, that darkness doesn't win, that even the hardest fall can be followed by a comeback. Every time you rise after a setback, you're building more than just your future. You're shaping the story you leave behind. People won't talk about how perfect your journey looked. They'll talk about how you didn't quit when everything told you to. They'll remember your resilience, your fight, your refusal to stay down. That's what sticks. That's what matters. Because in the end, it's not about never falling. It's about how many times you stood back up when life knocked you flat. There's power in your rise, a kind of strength that can't be faked or forced. It comes from the deep places inside you where your why lives, where your values live, where your vision lives. And when you stand again after being broken, that strength becomes part of you. It becomes part of your legacy, something that outlives the moment and inspires others long after the moment has passed. Your rise becomes a reminder that struggle has a purpose, that pain can be turned into power, and that there is always a way forward if you refuse to give up. Some people leave behind wealth, titles, or achievement. But the greatest legacy is how you made people feel, how you lifted them with your story, how your example showed them that strength isn't the absence of failure, it's the courage to keep rising through it. Your life has weight. Your actions echo. Every time you rise, you give others permission to rise too. So don't chase perfection. Don't worry about having it all figured out. Just keep getting up. Keep standing no matter how many times you've been knocked down. Let your story be one of grit, grace, and relentless resilience. Let your life prove that failure isn't fatal and falling isn't the end. Because in the end, your legacy isn't about how many times you fell. It's about how many times you rose. How many times you chose to keep going when quitting would have been easier. That is the mark of a life that mattered. That is the power of Standing Up 8.